Hello, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be making a very simple composition book notebook like the one I have here. I am just covering it in wrapping paper, and you can use whatever paper you prefer, but I found wrapping paper works the best because you need one large piece that will fit the entire, I don't know if you can see, the entire cover. So for this one I used apple wrapping paper, but for the one I'm making today, I was so excited because I ordered this vintage strawberry wrapping paper from Voyage To Vintage, and it just came yesterday, so it was like meant to be. Today I will be making a strawberry shortcake one, who was my favorite growing up. So it's pretty simple. You just need to measure it. It doesn't need to be perfect and super straight. I was just lucky that this was a new old stock piece of wrapping paper, so it was very straight and easy to measure. You will just need to lay your composition book flat. You will need to make sure you have at least an inch around the entire cover, and that's pretty easy to do. All you need is a ruler. Just measure, and it needs to be roughly an inch. See, I have about 2 inches on some and 1.5 inches on others. It doesn't need to be perfect. It's not a science. Once you cover your actual composition book cover, you will then be covering the inside as well. So it's not that serious, but just make sure you have at least an inch around the perimeter of your composition book. So now that you've done that, you need to turn it over, and you need to put your composition book right in the middle. Mine has a crease because it was old wrapping paper, so I'm just gonna try to make sure that the spine is on the crease to kind of hide that a little bit. This is where I get my glue stick out. I just use Craft Bond. I think any glue stick would probably work though. So the way you're going to start is you are going to generously apply a lot of glue. And then once that's done, you flip it over. You kind of very carefully, put it right there, and just make sure it's right in the middle as best you can. I mean, I know that, you know, we're humans, but it's not going to be perfect. So then what I do is I turn it over, and this is very important. I get my bone folder and I make sure that that glue is really, really set on there, and that that paper is down really flat. I don't want a bunch of wrinkles. I do have a crease. I don't know if you could see because this is old new stock vintage wrapping paper, but that's okay. So you just want to make sure it's down as best as you can. There you go. Then I'm going to flip it over. Now that I've done the back, I always start on the back. I guess you could start on the front, it wouldn't matter. And I'm going to go do the front now. Okay, so now we have glued our entire wrapping paper down. So now what we need to do is we need to open the cover, and we're going to need to glue down all of these edges. But first, before you do that, obviously there's nowhere for us to wrap up the paper in the centers. So what we need to do, and look very closely, is look and see where your spine is, and you're gonna wanna do a little sort of V. I'll get you a closer look right now. And then you're gonna wanna cut that right off. So that way when you fold over your wrapping paper to create your cover, your spine there won't have that, and it will be nice and flush. Let me see. There you go. You'll see a little bit more what I'm talking about when we get a little further into the process. So you'll do that on that side, and then you also need to do it on, so the top and the bottom ultimately is what you need to do. And you can either just cut that off, or you can even use, you know, I don't know, what's it called? What are they called? An X-Acto knife if you really want it perfect, but I'm just gonna use scissors because it's what I have. So this is what it's going to look like on the front. It looks like a little sort of V shape, and this is what it looks like underneath. Okay, so now that you've done that, the next thing we need to do is just cut off the corners because we don't want bulky paper as we fold up. So it's very simple. Right up to the edge of that corner of your composition book, cut a triangle. And you're gonna do that to all 4 sides. And now that is just trash, unless you wanna save that as a scrap, which sometimes I do, but I have a good amount of this left over, so I don't think I need to save these scraps. So just cut all 4 triangles. And then I'll give you a shot of what it looks like before we get started folding over. So here we go, let me move this. So you have your 2 V's, and then you have all your corners cut. And now what we're gonna do is simply use our same glue and fold over all of these little flaps. Okay, so now we're gonna get our same glue stick that we used. So this is our last flap that we're going to be putting down, and as soon as I'm done, I will show you what the finished product looks like so far. Okay, so this is what the cover looks like so far. We are completely covered, and when you open it up, all of our flaps are also glued down. And so now we just need to cover, you know, all the writing and this kind of not so aesthetic look on the inside. And what I'm going to do is, you can use large book pages, you can use another piece of the same wrapping paper. In this particular journal, I am going to use these images, and I got them from this old calendar. I love calendars because they have such great images. I actually bought this one from a vintage shop online, and I don't remember who, but if I do, I will link it below. And so calendars are really great. If you see them in thrift stores or at yard sales, I would buy them because the images are really great. And they're larger images, so they're perfect for crafts like this. So all you're going to need to do is measure your composition book cover. I've already pre-cut mine, but I'll just show you how I did it. So you're going to want to measure how many inches it is to the top. This is just under 10 inches. So I did it right about 9 1/4, and then it is just about 7 1/2 inches wide. So you want to add a little room because you want to make sure that your photo fits. You don't need it to be the exact height, so just leave a tiny bit around the edges. And then we're going to glue this right on. But first, and this is optional, as you can see, usually composition books have rounded corners. So what I am going to do is I am going to round the corners so that it just looks a little more flush, so it's not a super pointy photo or picture or image with a rounded corner. So I don't know which picture I want in the front. I think I want this one in the front because this is Lemon Meringue and she is so cute. I was such a big Strawberry Shortcake fan when I was young. I had Strawberry Shortcake everything. I had Strawberry Shortcake sheets and curtains and a bedspread. I had Strawberry Shortcake birthday parties. I had all the dolls. I was very lucky. I wish I still had it all. So now that I have my corners rounded, because I just think, I don't know if you can tell, I just think that looks nice. It's going to be the same simple process of using my, what's it called? What is this? A glue stick to glue it into the cover. So like I said, generously add tons of your glue stick to the back of this image. Make sure you get all of it. Like I said, you could use any kind of glue, tacky glue, Elmer's glue. I use a glue stick because it dries so quickly, and once I glue this down, I will literally be able to start creating in this journal, and that's what matters to me. So you're just gonna wanna get it on there as straight as you can. You know, do your best. It is what it is. It doesn't have to be perfect, I guess. The only person that's gonna care is probably you. So just make sure it's all on there. Get that bone folder out and just really make sure it's on there nice and secure. You could always go back and add more glue if you have to, but it's nice if you don't have to. You just make sure it's all on there and it's nice and secure. So that's just gonna make a really clean, pretty cover for the inside. If you find that you cut it a little short or your picture wasn't long enough, you can also add washi tape down the center, but this one looks perfect, so I don't think I'll have to add any there. I did on my Snow White book because it was slightly short. I didn't measure right. So as you can see, I just added a little bit of washi tape, decorative washi tape. So, okay, one side down. We're gonna go right to the other one. I already rounded those corners. And so I just need to glue it down. How cute, the strawberry shortcake. Such a favorite of mine from the past. So like I said, you just add that generously. Make sure you get all of the surface, especially the rounded corner side, because that one's the one that's gonna be on the end. It's gonna get lots of action from you opening and closing your cover all the time. So you're gonna wanna make sure that's on there real secure. And I think I'm good. Oh, I got lots of glue on there. That's not good. Maybe I'll try to avoid that. You're just gonna put it right on. As you can see, I'm just lining it right up, and I am doing my best to make sure it stays straight. Oops. The other thing I love about glue stick is you can move it around. I don't know if you saw, but I was really able to just kind of move it around. I'm gonna use my bone folder. I'm just going to make sure it's as secure as it possibly can be. I am pressing pretty firm because I really want to make sure that that glue is snug. So there, it's perfect. As you can see, there is a little gap here, so I will add washi tape there because I probably didn't measure it perfectly, but that's okay. So I happen to have this really adorable strawberry washi tape, and since I cut it a little crooked, I'm just going to show you that this is how I add that washi tape right down the center, and you just cut it. It's very simple, and I make sure you can see. And so this is really great because it allows you to, oh gosh, how am I going to cut that one? I might just have to rip it. Oh, there we go. It allows you to make sure that that cover is going to stay in place, and if you measure incorrectly, it covers it right up and makes it look really cute. So very lucky that I have this cute little strawberry washi tape. So now we are pretty much done. If you wanted to keep your journal like this, very simple, it would be perfect and lovely. I personally was going to keep mine this way, but then I found this really cute Snow White image, And then I decided I wanted to make a closure because I anticipate that it's going to end up getting kind of chunky. And so I'm going to show you how to do that if you want to. But if you don't, this is an adorable, perfect journal, and it could be considered complete. The one thing I will say is I'm going to show you, I thinned mine out considerably. I took a lot of the pages out. As you can see, this one that I just made is a complete composition book, so it's much thicker than mine. And the reason I took pages out of mine was because, as I said, I anticipate, because I'm using it as a scrap journal, I anticipate it growing and getting kind of fat. And so because of that, I wanted to take out some of those pages to accommodate the growth. And the way I did that, I'll even show you, I'll just remove another one, is you go, composition books are just kind of folded over pages, as you can see. You just take one page and you carefully kind of rip it out. And then as you can see, as I kind of try to show you, that same page will be loose over here and it'll come right out. So I've removed a lot of the pages from mine, anticipating growth, but you don't have to do that. You can actually just keep it complete like this if you just plan on writing in it or not putting as much goodies in there. So if you want to be complete, you can at this point, but I am going to show you how I add photos and whatnot. So with that in mind, I have a little scrap of green paper that I thought was kind of pretty. This was an image I had, but I didn't want to use the original image, so I just scanned it and I put it on sticker paper. So I'm going to just glue that onto the front, and then I'm going to put some corners on it. So let me just show you that. Okay, so now that my image is down, I want to add some of these really cute photo corners. I found them at Joann's. Now the problem is you would usually put them on your photo. Well, since I use sticker paper, I can't, you know, obviously stick it on there. So I'm just gonna take them off of here. They kind of, as you can see, pretty easily come right off. So I just will throw that part away, but I'll use the little gold corner. And I'm just gonna have to use my glue stick to put that on there. Some adhesive so it stays. See if you can see. I just like the way the corners make it look a little more finished. All right, we are just about done. We're gonna head to the final step now, which is adding the closure. I used an eyelet and just some ribbon. So I'm gonna show you how I did that by making one on this new strawberry shortcake one. So the way I do that is I use my crocodile, and I have little gold eyelets, kind of hard to see, and a ruler, because I want to make sure that these are going to be spaced right about the same on the front and the back. So this is just about 10 inches. So I'm just going to make right here a little dot so I know where to make that hole punch. I'm going to come to the back and I'm going to do the exact same thing. So just so I know-ish where this is going, right at the 5. So the first thing you need to do is make your hole punch. I'm gonna come right at about there. Sometimes I somewhat eyeball it, but see, I missed the dot a little bit, but it's okay. You can't really see it. And then you're gonna come back here and do the exact same thing. So now that you have your, oops, I went through the thing. Now that you have your hole punch, I'm not sure you can even see, you need to fit your eyelet in. So you stick your eyelet right in, and then you use the tool, the top part of the tool, just to set it. And it's that simple. Now your eyelet is in there nice and secure, so I'll do the back as well. Just place it right in the top. Just tighten it in there. So again, nice and tight. Your eyelets are set. Now all you have to do, I have this really pretty ribbon. I don't know where I got it from. It came on some packaging that I purchased actually. So I'm just gonna cut it in half. So should I cut it in half? Yeah, I'll just cut it in half. It's nice and thin. I find if you use a really thin ribbon, it actually just works best. So you slide it right through. I don't know if you can see. I'm sliding it right through, and then I am going to make a knot. Just like that. And then this little tab, little kind of tail from the ribbon, I usually just stick back here and it stays pretty secure. Of course, this one is a little bit looser. I usually make them a little bit tighter, but there you go. So see, you have a really pretty closure. I'm gonna do the same to the back just so you can see. So now we have these really long ribbons. You can trim them if you want, but I like keeping them long to accommodate growth, because once this kind of might get a little bit thicker, you'll have a nice amount of ribbon to tie just in a traditional bow. So while you're waiting for that, what you can do is you can just kind of crisscross them around the front and the back. And then I just tie a bow in the front, which I think looks kind of pretty. So it's very simple. This one is still quite a bit long, so I'll trim it just a tiny bit. But this is it. This is our completed journal. I'm so happy with how this one turned out. It's very sweet. And I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you learned. And if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below, because I would love to answer them. So thank you for joining me today. I hope you have a great week, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.